Okay, so on Friday, the DOJ released the biggest tranche of Epstein files that we've gotten thus far. They still have not released all of them, mind you. They said they had millions and millions of documents. I think it was upwards of 5 million. They still have not released all of them, and they say it's because a lot of it had to be redacted. I I call bullshit, honestly, because like from everything that we have gotten, there have been a ton of names that were redacted that were predators or victimizers. Like, so I'm confused as to why. Well, I know why, because they're protecting the predators, they're protecting the pedophiles. But obviously, if they are protecting some of the names in what they have released, I'm assuming that they have a ton of shit that they're trying to hide. On top of that, there's a lot of what I'm assuming is probably CSAM, and to that effect, there is like, yes, we don't. I don't want to see that. I don't want anybody to see it. I really would like it rather it be like burnt. But at the same time, who are the men in those photos? Are there? Is it just purely victims, or are you being like? Are you kind of using it as an excuse to not show us, tell us who is in those photos? It's and obviously we can't tell for sure anything because it's Trump's DOJ and he's like implicated in the fucking files. And there is so many fucking accusations towards Trump and so many different powerful people and people who refused they were in the Epstein files, like Elon Musk is that bitch ass. Anyways, Bill Gates has been implicated in a bunch of shit and he's gross, disgusting. He's a pig. Anyways, they redacted a lot of names that were of clearly of like powerful people, predators, that type of thing. And they failed to redact a ton of nude photos that were in the files. Like they even within that where they like obviously they needed all this time to redact it. They spent all this like time not releasing the files, even they were supposed to in what, December? It's now January. No, it's February now. Jesus Christ! Like, what are we doing? If they released it January 31st, I think it would have been, or the 30th. So I just like even even what they like their cover story of why they were redacting things. They didn't even do that. They didn't even probably cover themselves. Like it's fucking insane. So I pulled up the Guardian. The Guardian has been chronicling everything that they found so far. I'll go through that in a minute. First, I pulled up a coffeezilla video that he breaks down a lot of the initial stuff. This is on the 31st, now the 2nd. So a lot more has come out since, but this is a good breakdown of the initial findings.
The FBI just dropped 3.5 million files, and it is incredible. Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet. I can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean, it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've seen is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list, there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people on the planet, and that is Bill Gates. Listen, there's a lot we're gonna get to, but we have to start with probably the craziest revelation here, which is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post 2008. That's a big year. You're going to hear a lot today because 2008 was the time that Epstein pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it. Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this came out. Melinda Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein and said he was evil.
He was evil personified.
So you have to understand, this is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet. He's got this huge philanthropy arm. But this relationship with Epstein has been a huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement. Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates. And this is where the blackmail starts. And
Gee, I wonder why. Like, normal fucking people, like, do not need NDAs. Like, what the fuck were you doing that you need an NDA for?
comes in the form of like, if I were you, I would do X if I were the type of guy that you should be. He says, in that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you had your heart set on. In addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we agreed upon, 30 to 40% of an $100 million partnership for $30 million in today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote, to add insult to injury, you subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to delete the emails I had regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your
Okay. Description of his penis. Oh, why? Because it has like shit. Anyways, the just to like, oh my God, if I was Melinda Gates, I would feel so fucking like, not. It's a huge violation of your trust and your marriage to be like doing all this shit, but then to see communications of your husband, ex-husband now, but husband at the time, talking about slipping your drink with meds for protect, like, that is such like ew, it's so gross. That's such a like violation, and it's so weird. It's fucking gross, dude. Like, ew. This is what, and mind you, these men are like 50 something. Like, that's crazy.
This is insane. I mean, it's completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form, I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife without her knowledge. I mean, it's complete. It's crazy. It's just completely obvious what he's doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because you usually wouldn't blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake. I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce. So it's hard to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely above board. He says the fact this allegation was in here just shows how much Epstein was willing to defame people. But Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys, this is
What? Wait. Adderall for bridge tournaments? Like crib? Case in point, these men are 50. Like, what? Even like 50-year-olds today are like, crib? Okay, boomer.
exactly what we suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people and expecting payment via blackmail. Now you might say, and it's true, that we don't know that Epstein ultimately sent that version of an email to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent to himself was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates did all of that? No, of course we don't. But do I think Bill Gates was innocently looking for charity advice from a after he already pled guilty? No, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not that gullible. And speaking of not that gullible, we've been lied to also by another richest guy on the planet. Geez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out. Elon Musk, who has been saying for years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, he says he refused to go. From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He says, anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Later responding to another headline, which said Elon Musk planned trip to Epstein's private island. And he says, this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files and we can see on Epstein's calendar that Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein. But maybe you'll believe the word of Elon Musk, who was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk writes, will be in BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Good time to visit. Jeffrey Epstein says, I will send a heli for you. Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just to Lula and me, his ex-wife, what day and night would be the wildest party on your...
It's so insane. Like, not only were you, I refused to go. He asked me, I refused. No, bitch, you asked. You were begging to go. You were begging to go to Pedophile Island. Like, that's insane. You fucking chomo. Like, what is this? Like, hello? Begging to go. You are, wow. Also, like, Elon Musk is the biggest liar in the world. Are we on Mars? No. Do we have self-driving cars? No, they're killing people. Like, what else has the motherfucker said? Like, almost everything he says comes to be incorrect, untrue. Just a lie, a fantasy, a daydream he made up one day. Like, fucking hell.
Island. The world's richest man is asking the most pedophile man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets more explicit. In 2012, remember, this is the guy who said, I refused it. I could never do that, right? It's false. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play the, I went to go study math.
Insane. Also, Elon's daughter, Vivian, confirmed that they were in that area at the time. So she literally said, it leads me to believe that these emails are real and it happened. So, like, and I agree, because what the fuck is this? Like, okay.
Excuse, which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists. Elon's
also,
like, hey,
let loose? Is that what you call raping young girls? Whoa. Okay.
I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what I'm here to do. And then Jeffrey Epstein writes, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable. I can't believe these guys are lying to us and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what? There's another time in 2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing with the boys. Here, once again, Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Again.
It's the Grove. It's like the real version of like what we expected the Grove to be. Like, you know, it's crazy.
Is there a good time to visit? Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st to the 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well, if Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right? Because he said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her. And actually, it was the other way. Yeah, it turns out Elon didn't dump the The dumped Elon. He says, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. Hopefully, we can schedule another time in the future. Jeffrey Epstein let Elon down. That's actually the real story.
You're such a weird ass nerdy bitch. Even the fucking crazy fucking insane pedophiles don't like you. Like, oh my god.
The reason he didn't go in 2013 was because he couldn't go. Jeffrey Epstein was not there. Guys, I mean, How blatant do they have to make it before we start to just see through it, right? When they issue these ridiculous denials, they're totally associated with the guy after the guilty plea. They lie through their teeth, but they can't even keep their story straight. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're not even competent at this. They get caught in their own lies all the time. Remember, the FBI's official story was they didn't blackmail. Well, before we even had these files, Howard Lutnick was on the record calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever.
So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participated.
right.
That's what his MO was, get a massage, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Interesting. Okay, so Howard has a different perspective. Now, if you don't know, that guy, do you think he's just telling the truth there? Even this guy who's contradicting the official narrative, this guy literally lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. This guy who's like, I'm gonna tell the truth. Those guys participated. That guy lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, he lied too. I love this video we're about to get into because this guy, Mr. He's the greatest blackmailer ever, does he know something we don't know? Because it's interesting, Mr. I'm his neighbor had to also explain how he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And he lays it out pretty simply. He goes, yep, I lived next to him, but in 2005, I had such a horrible experience that I knew I could never talk to him again.
He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
We move in 2005, okay? Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like '08, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee.
Also, does this seem like the type of dude that's like not a sleazebag or would have an issue with you being a pervert? Please.
And there's a massage table in the middle of the room. Massage table in the middle of your house? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And
As
in the
if.
6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
Well, he couldn't be more clear, could he, right? He says, hey, I may have been...
He has no problem working for the man who said, when you're a celebrity, you can do anything, just grab by the pussy. You clutched your pearls. I will never be in the same room as that man again because he gets happy ending massages. But the man who's been credibly accused of rape by 28 different women was best friends with Epstein for over a decade. I'm going to sign myself up to work for and defend all the fucking time. Miss me with the bullshit, Howard. What the fuck are you what? You are a dumb bitch. Shut you could have just not said anything, really. You didn't even have to do the interview. The fuck?
His next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over and it was 5 seconds and we left and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
These other guys, they may have participated.
They participated.
But Howard Lutnick, he could never. No. He's too good of a guy. Well, guess what we found in the old emails? Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located? What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife and, I could never be in front of him. He's gross. Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in. saying we are headed towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met. Headed towards you in St.
Did he skip over?
My boy's wife.
Go to. They brought their kids as well, and they had like it's crazy.
Messaging in, saying we're.
I don't understand how these people like sleep at night. Crazy.
We're headed towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us. I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly what I said to him. My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the 2012. I boated over to his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that what we're expected to believe? This is a momentary lapse in his judgment. No, these guys don't even care about being consistent. And they're all throwing each other under the bus. Don't you remember Elon Musk saying the time to drop the really big bomb? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. My guy, you also are in the Epstein files very clearly doing stuff you lied about, okay? So is Howard Lutnick, who says, yeah, Bill Gates, he's probably getting blackmailed because he participated. What did you do on the island over in 2012, Howard? Do we know that? I mean, does anyone care? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the most explosive stuff. It's also, again, I have to say, unverified, okay? This is the NTOC, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. And the challenge with confirming some of this is that these are anonymous tips, or they black them out at least, so we don't know who they are, and anyone can drop a tip. Now, that doesn't mean that you should disregard them. It just means we can't verify them. The other challenge is that the FBI has a heavy incentive to discredit anything with Donald Trump in it, just because he's in the White House right now, obviously. And so I want to be clear, there are notes related to
he was when Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. I'm Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. I am willing to say he was murdered. There is no ifs, ands, or buts for me. Like there's no doubt there. He was murdered. Just was.
Some of these submissions where they say things like complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate redacted. You know, it's hard to tell how much this is the proper due diligence of the FBI, which they should be doing, of course, and not all complaints are credible. But also there's this obvious conflict of interest with the fact that the sitting president is in some of these complaints. But here they are for what it's worth. Complaint summary. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Later, there's very explosive claims about big parties with her, other younger girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. There's claims third hand about a female victim of Epstein's who wants to publish a book citing Leslie Wexner, Epstein, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is in the videos as well. And it goes on like this for a while. Some of the complaints are just like very graphic, and obviously I'm gonna censor out some of it. But I should also mention the DOJ claims that some of these claims were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had any shred of credibility, they would have certainly been weaponized against President Trump already. Now, I agree that if a complaint is timed right before an election, there definitely could be some other motivations.
Clearly not. Like you're acting as though like the Biden DOJ was weaponizing things against Trump. As if that were so, he would have been convicted and thrown in jail. The fuck? He committed an insurrection. He insurrected the Capitol. He incited an insurrection. If he wanted to weaponize the DOJ, he wouldn't have got fucking milk toast ass Merrick Garland and fucking actually fucking prosecuted that bitch. Like Donald Trump, obviously, like if you're just making the case as to why Biden's DOJ and Biden was bullshit.
To that, But it's also ridiculous to say that anything in the Epstein files, if it were true, would have come out already. Because why didn't we see the stuff about Bill Gates, for example? I mean, that stuff apparently has been sitting in here for a long time. And not only did no one talk about it, the FBI literally covered for it. I mean, they said that this was not the case. There are big claims against a lot of powerful people. Nobody in that file really wants to rock the boat or release the files because then they get in trouble and their buddies get in trouble. And that's a huge problem. So I don't really buy the idea that, oh, if it were true, it would have already gotten out. I don't buy that. That's why we need transparency. That's why it's important these files are out. But this is just to look at a small fraction of the files. And over the next few weeks, we're going to go through all of the major findings we can from this 3.5 million page document dump. But seriously, think about how discrediting this has been, not only to this administration, but to so many rich and powerful people who have lied through their teeth happily towards you.
Also, Cash fucking Patel, like, what? That motherfucker perjured himself, like, colossally. Humongous. Like, he needs to be brought in front of Congress. He needs to be fucking tried. Like, what? He perjured himself. Everything they released so far have, like, proven that he was a humongous fucking liar. He lied through his fucking teeth. Or he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And even then, he needs to be, like, get him out of the position that he's in. He's not doing his job correctly. He's lying to Congress. What are we, like?
In order to hide their relationship with this man that many of them held post-guilty plea. And some of them, now we know, Epstein prepared blackmail for them and, according to reports, threatened.
Yeah. Like, it's insane. Okay, so The Guardian has been chronicling everything that's been being found so far. So they were released on the 30th. So we're not going to get into every single one, but we're just going to go through, like, the big headlines. Andrew went to intimate dinner with Epstein after his prison release. Files suggest, like, that motherfucker is so fucking corrupt. He's disgusting. He's a pig. Elon Musk had more extensive ties to Epstein than previously known. Emails show Jeffrey Epstein sent money to Laura Mandelson's husband after prison release. Emails suggest we did not protect President Trump, says the U.S. DOJ. U.S. Justice Department releases more than 3 million new pages of Epstein files. They told us that they have like over 5 million. So. And they say that they're done. So you have millions of files that you're just not releasing, and you're not explaining why you need to not show them, even though that's against the law that was passed. Trump Commerce Secretary Howard Nutlick arranged to visit Epstein Island, files show. Emails reportedly show Epstein scouted women for New York Giants co-owner Steve Tisch. Yes, okay. Steve Tisch, I'm not extremely familiar with him, but one of his family members is the New York commissioner for the police. She's the one that, like, she approved, like, a bunch of aggressive tactics towards protesters, pro-Palestinian protesters, and she's not good. She's terrible. Let's keep on going. The Tisch family is like one of the most. They're very wealthy, and there's a lot of them, and they're gross. Epstein files updates. Survivors say new documents expose the victims' names, while men remain protected as it happened. Like, they're just continuing on with this, like, protection of these men, these disgusting pedophiles, and not protecting the victims. They're just further victimizing them. It's just like continuing the trend. It's fucking insane. Epstein documents shed new light on manipulator Ghislaine Maxwell. Andrew invited Epstein to Buckingham Palace after child sex offenders release. File show. You're disgusting. Like, have you no fucking shame? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So fucking annoying. I went to Canada as part of the Commonwealth. So I went to Prince Andrew High School. It's since been renamed, but it throws me off guard a lot of times still, seeing his name. She needs to fix it. Jeffrey Epstein's plot to win redemption via Sarah Ferguson. Andrew's wife or ex-wife, or who knows, the former Duchess of York. Epstein's lawyers discussed possibility of cooperation with prosecutors days before his death. So he was like, his lawyers were discussing him cooperating, and then he died. Gee, I wonder why he died. Right, he killed himself. Seems pretty convenient that as soon as he starts to talk about cooperating, he winds up dead. Please, please. Democrats accuse DOJ of not releasing millions of Epstein files despite legal requirement. Like, they have over 2 million files at least. Keir Starmer calls on Andrew to testify in U.S. over Jeffrey Epstein links. Giants owner Steve Tisch says he never visited Epstein's island and regrets associating with him. Okay. Christ. Okay, so Democrats request urgent review of unredacted Epstein files to evaluate DOJ compliance as it happened. Let's see. Norway's crown princess had years of... Okay, this one is crazy. So her name is like Mira or something like that. And she was asking like parenting advice for her like 15-year-old son from Jeffrey Epstein. And one of the things she asked him was like, would it be okay if a mother got her son like a wallpaper with naked women on it holding a surfboard? And Jeffrey Epstein was like, probably inappropriate for Jeffrey Epstein, the international sex trafficking pedophile. He was like, no, that would probably be inappropriate for a mother. Mother should stay out of it. Mind you, that son that they were speaking of, he has now raped, like, he's been accused of, or credibly, I think it was convicted of rape, like, of four women, like a bunch of different charges. It's crazy. It's like, what the fuck? How what was that home like? The Jesus Christ. Also, you're asking, I can't get over parenting advice from the international sex trafficking pedophile. Okay. Todd Blanche says a review of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case is over. See, that's what they're saying. It's you have millions of files still, and tons of things have been redacted without explanation that you were not supposed to redact. You are protecting people. Democrat slams U.S. Justice Department's release of Epstein files. We are witnessing a full-blown cover-up. Abso-fucking-lutely. Mandelson resigns from the Labor Party to prevent further embarrassment over Epstein links. Good, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Mandelson should no longer be a peer, says Starmer. I mean, The Guardian is a UK outlet, so they're gonna... Can Peter Mandelson be stripped of his peerage over Epstein links? Second woman alleging Epstein sent her to the UK for Andrew encounter wants apology from King's lawyers. Jesus fucking Christ. It's insane. And that's everything they have so far. And that's still not even everything. There's a lot of emails pretty much confirming that Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad. I mean, we already pretty much had it confirmed. I did a few videos on it from about Dropsite News' reporting that he was pretty connected with Israeli intelligence. Not only that, there's emails of him saying things like, maybe you should let them know that I'm not Mossad before we meet. And it's like, why on earth would you say that unless you were Mossad? Like, it's crazy. And that was to Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. It's insane. Also, there's a 3-hour phone call between him and Ehud Barak, or like a recording maybe, and Epstein and Ehud Barak. And Jeffrey Epstein is introducing him to like what Palantir is and Peter Thiel. And now Palantir is being used as a tool, like their software is being used in the genocide in Gaza. So it's in like if we follow like some of these things, it's insane. There's a ton of emails showing that Jeffrey Epstein was not only Jeffrey Epstein, but there was other men, but their names are redacted, referring to things like pizza, clearly talking about not pizza, and it looks as though like some of the Pizzagate shit was real. But then we also find out from this latest dump that Jeffrey Epstein was in close contact with the founder of 4chan, and then he was like directing him to go start this ultra right wing subreddit that Galen was super active on. She was a moderator of it. Like, it seems as though they kind of planted the Pizzagate theory in these conspiracy theory right wing nut circles to make it seem as though it would be crazy, like when they were actually doing these things. And obviously, Pizzagate went into some crazy. It went way far off the rails. It went like, and clearly it was by design, but like, it's insane. Like, there have been pictures of Jeffrey Epstein that we see now. That, like, he was in like CI warehouses, basically. Like, you can see there's a picture of him with a woman. The woman is redacted, but in the background, there's cases everywhere, and the CIA logo is on all of them. It's insane. Clearly, he was some sort of intelligence agent, but I guess he was some kind of like freelancer, like he would do whatever he needed to do for like the highest bidder, I guess. Like, I don't fucking know, because he was clearly working with Mossad. He's working with CIA. We've also seen new emails that he was very clearly working with KGB and Russians and Putin, like close contact with Putin. So he had his hands in pots all over the fucking place. Somebody asked him, there's another email where somebody asked him about his connection, if you knew anybody with influence over Assad. And he writes back, this is not for email. It's insane. And obviously there's a lot of sexual stuff, and I'm not really going to get into it. At this point, like, I want to know who's doing these things, but I'm not really interested in hearing those types of details a lot of the time. I just want to know the name. I've been and more importantly, what I think is very important that we can't get what cannot get swept away in this is the fact that this man was very clearly a fucking spy, and he was working for whoever the fuck would pay him the most, and he was blackmailing people and using these, like, yes, he was an international sex trafficking pedophile, but I believe he was using that in order to like fuel this, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was the pedophilia, international sex trafficking pedophilia. He's a pedophile, but he was using that as a way to blackmail and get information so he could be a fucking spy. Like, and I understand it's a lot of people, the salacious nature of a lot of these details, a lot of people will focus on those, but we need to like keep our eyes open. We need to walk and chew gum at the same fucking time. We need to like focus on, like, keep two separate ideas in our mind. This is one thing, and this is one thing, and they are connected, but we need to be able to focus on both. These people are fucking depraved. Like, they need to be fucking charged and thrown in jail, and the key needs to be thrown the fuck away. Or, like, send them, like, they love this pedophile island so much, send them all to a fucking island, take away their rights to, like, boats, and we'll send armed armed cargo ships every, like, month with the whatever food they need, and that's it. Like, I don't send them all to an island. I seriously, what are we supposed to do with these people? They need to go. Guillotine. we like bring it back. Honestly, I'm so fervently against the death penalty, but like you have committed crimes against humanity. Like these are billionaires. So obviously, what first of all, like you there is no such thing as an ethical billionaire. So these motherfuckers have exploited labor and society and people and the working class to amass these humongous, disgusting amounts of wealth. And now it's corrupted them so fucking much, just exploiting people and just being such a terrible fucking person that they turn into these like monster pedophiles. They're the worst possible thing that society has ever had to fucking offer. Not only are you depraved and disgusting in your private life, but in your work life and your like public life, you are a huge exploiter of labor, of people, of their work, and like you don't give a fuck. You are willing to fucking pay people fucking peanuts, like pennies on the like verse like and take all the wealth for yourself, and you are a piece of shit. You don't deserve anything. You don't even deserve peanuts. Like actual peanuts, bitch. Like Jesus fucking Christ. All right, everybody, keep your eyes open. I'll be back later with more. This is crazy.